Okay, so according to this, we are live. Hey, everybody. I'm Jim over here at RPG Enlightenment, and tonight we're going to be doing a little promotional type game for RPG Enlightenment's official launch. We're getting going, and so we decided what better symbolizes enlightenment than monks. So we're playing an all-monk game. And I'll introduce my character, or the players, and they'll introduce their characters and stuff in a little bit. But now we're going to jump right on in. The Crimson Scorpions, a group of assassins that have never been caught. Their numbers are unknown, and their body count is in the thousands. Not many who have come up against them have listened to, or have lived to tell the tale. So skilled at the art of taking life that it is said to even see one is to be poisoned by their presence. The Temple of Rama was built on holy and blessed lands, found within the Teliek Forest, high in the north. It has stood for hundreds and hundreds of years and has been a sanctuary for all walks of life. The monks that call this temple home are among the most skilled fighters in the world. Their temple elder, Elder Goru, is an Elvin man whose legend is known far and wide. He and his disciples purged the forest many years ago of the evil that dwelled within it. Goru teaches that one must be strong in order to protect the land, and that in return, the land will provide. On a quiet day in fall, the leaves have turned a hypnotic ray of orange, yellow, and red. The breeze blows gently, and the clouds cast dancing shadows upon the red brick walkways of Rama, until the arrows begun to fall. And before anyone had time to react, several monks fall dead as the rain of steel and wood peppered the walkways and rooftops. The screaming, the barbaric and devilish screaming. Hordes and hordes of savage-looking men stormed into the temple. Crawling over walls and through gates, they funneled in, killing any that got in their way. The four of you were on the training grounds when, with several other monks, when you heard the screams. As you realized what is happening, that chaos has begun, the five other monks with you fall to the ground in an instant as arrows pierce their body. You trace it up, and you start at the feet of this large statue of Elder Goru and look up to the sky. Standing atop it is a large half-orc man. You can barely make out what he's saying. I hope each of you has a long and slow death. And he lowers two large crossbows down at the remaining four of you. Each crossbow seemingly holding 6 arrows, all trained on you. Roll initiative. Alrighty then. All right, Kyle and who else? Jason. Kyle and Jason, if both of you would decide who would like to go first, since you both got an 18, you're going to be able to decide who would like to go first.
I'll let him go first.
All right. So if you want to introduce yourself and introduce your character, and then essentially take your turn.
Yeah, I'm Jordan. I run the channel Tabletop Dads. My character is Balasar Delmarev. He's a dragonborn, way of the Kenzai. And is a very quiet person, very reserved, and I think at this point he would have been training in the front with honing his skills with the glaive that he has. When the monkey was fighting with just took an arrow right to the side of the skull and dropped. And at this point, that's when he would have looked up and saw this orc. And as soon as he saw those crossbows lowered, he would have taken one of the stone-looking obelisks off of this belt he has on his chest and just whipped it up at him. Whipped a couple of them up there as he whips these darts at this guy. All right, first natural one of the game. That's what I like to see. But the other one is a 22, so one of them hits.
Yeah, one of them will hit. Go ahead and if you want to roll me the damage for that, and if you also tell me what happens with that that nat one, what causes it to fail just so epically?
Balasar would start to have a little bit of a flashback, like a PTSD almost, a memory that he doesn't particularly want to share with people, but it causes him to shake a little bit. And as he pulls the one out, his arm just crunches, and the stone obelisk just turns to dust before he could even throw it as he pulls that second one out. But the first one that went in did 5 damage.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to do on your turn other than that?
I think at that point he's gonna try and move towards the statue and get ready to climb it because he just wants to get right up in this dude's face.
All right. Ruko,
while training with his partner, being an annoyance as always, constantly dodging and almost dancing around his opponent, opposed to seeming in a real fight mode, watches him fall and has his gaze go up to the gentleman that so proudly pronounced himself. Ruko kind of does the little, looks like a guy came to have a real fight here. I don't like those weapons, though. I point forward, and I'm going to cast Eldritch Blast as my spell sniper feat, and I'm going to actually try to shoot out his crossbows. I have 3 attacks, so I'm going to do 1 to each crossbow and 1 to him.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make the attack rolls for me.
So first one, I rolled a 15 plus 7 is a 22. And that's 7 points of force damage.
And just so I know, are you trying to, with that one, are you hitting him or the weapon?
I'm going to hit the weapons first and then him. Basically try to make them head off and then bounce him back so they have to fall away.
Cool. Okay.
Second attack, I got an 18. And that's 2 points of damage. Force. And last one to him, I got a 17 to hit. Okay. And that is 8 points of force damage to him. As basically the arcane energies go around my wrist, and I just go, not finger guns, but just pointing at him. And the ripples of like the space around it kind of push forward as if like a heat vacuum kind of hits and just forces his arms away before making contact with him.
All right. So yeah, so you fire off these beams, and the first one hits the crossbow in his right hand, and it looks like it's about to knock it out, but he actually manages to hold on. But he was so focused on that one that when your second attack came up and hit his left hand, that goes right out of his hand. It's not completely out and falls to the ground. as this last one hits him. And he begins to fall off the back. It was enough force to push him right off the top of this statue. So, Rami, we're going to take your turn. And during your turn, he is going to be in midair.
All right. All right. So, as this barbarian starts to fall from the sculpture, I think I'm gonna quick draw my dagger, one of my darts, and throw it at him. So that way it hits him midair. So I don't know if because he's midair, if you want to do that at disadvantage or.
No, I'm gonna say roll it normal. Because him not being able to dodge it at all or anything would give you advantage, but the fact that he's falling, so yeah, we'll just say it's at normal.
All right, good. So 15 on die plus 7, so that's what, 22?
Yep, that'll hit.
All right, then 1d8 plus 2. Ooh, max damage, 10 points of damage.
Nice. So what's it look like as these things hit him?
So as, you know, Rami kind of being taken back by everything that's kind of going on around him, it took him a second to kind of like compose himself. And upon realizing his opportunity, he just pulls out the dagger that the darts that he had in like his side on his side, and just like does a quick fling at him as he falls, and it just like maybe pierces him like in that's the side of his like ribs or something like that, like as he falls backwards.
Okay, right on. And with that, he hits the ground, and it makes this slight, just from the immense weight and from the height of which he fell, he hits the ground, and there's this slight crater. Nothing big. It's just from where his body fell, the brick tiles that made up the walkways and the ground that you're training on just kind of collapses inwards. And then Rygar?
I do get two attacks. So
okay, go ahead and take that attack then.
Well, as he kind of, so is he falling my entire turn, or like can I hit him while he's in like falling and then like run up and like whack him with my quarterstaff?
Yeah, you can. I would say you can do that
because I got a speed of like 55, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, go for it.
So then, as he falls, actually, I don't. Can I just roll an attack for like a grapple, and like pin him with my quarterstaff to the floor?
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, nat 20. Mother.
Yeah, so you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. You tell me.
This week.
I kind of think because of his heritage and having grown up here, the anger is filling his watery face, and being a water genasi, I almost assume like his hair is steaming, you know, like part of his hair is essentially burning off steam, as he just pushes his quarterstaff into him. And I don't know if it'll be cool with you, but if like just from the brute force, if I ask him like who sent you, if because of the net 20 he would give me an answer, or I don't know how you would want to play that.
No, he would definitely give you an answer. Like I said, that if y'all want to throw dialogue in at any point, go for it. This is things like this is definitely the time to do that. So you're just asking him who sent him?
Yeah, like, like who sent you? Why have you done this? Like the typical, like, you just watched everyone who you kind of know essentially die. Anger questions.
All right, yeah. So he stares up at you and just has from the force of him falling from taking these few hits, he has a little bit of trickle of blood coming out of the side of his mouth, just around one of these tusks, and he just stares at you like with probably just as much anger as you have, and like eyes burning holes through you, and through gritting teeth, he just says, "Yeah, that's exactly what he says." And but no, he. So yeah, through gritting teeth, he just says to you, "I am here to end all of this. None of you deserve to live."
What have I done that makes me not deserve to live, you fool? I have done nothing to you, yet you have attacked not only me, but my family. Like, applying even more pressure now that he's upset me.
And he's never letting eye contact break. You start feeling him trying to like push up against you, and if you have to ask that, then you're even crazier than we thought. And he's gonna attempt to try and just push you off of him. So you can just give me an athletics check.
Oh, this person's just being rude, isn't he?
I got a 10 total.
Yeah, so he's gonna. You feel that steady application of force from his end, and he just like launches you back. And I kind of imagine that you very dexterously like kind of slide along the ground backwards. You never fall or anything. Is there anything else you would like to try to do in your turn before we go on to? Can you pronounce his name? I'm horrible with names. The guys that haven't played with me before, I'm horrible with names. Jose, could you tell me how to pronounce your character's name real quick?
His name is Resgar.
Okay. So yeah, Josh, is there anything that you wanted to that Emmy wanted to do?
Not really.
Okay. So Razgar.
Alright, so Resgar would be like on the ground, try to see if, anybody's alive, like listening to their, try to feel their vitals. And he would just get up for a second, and you can see him panting, like you can tell he's really angry. And he would start walking forward and kind of like grab Rami and moving like a little to the left. And he would like get into like a stance and just run at the orc. And right as he's running at the orc, you will see his hand start turning into like dark water. And all of a sudden he would just hit him in the chest. And that would be me using my water crashes. It says once per turn you hit a creature with an unarmed attack, they must make a constitution save versus your safe DC or become incapacitated.
Okay, so give me an attack roll to see if you can actually hit him first.
All right. 17.
Yep, that'll hit. All right, so he's going to have to make a con save.
Yes. Versus my DC, which is 17.
He does not make that. So he is, what'd you say, incapacitated?
Yes.
Holy crap. And is there a duration on that? Does he make another save on his turn, or is it?
Yeah,
like
it says or become incapacitated until the start of your next turn. And then it says, additionally, I can spend 1 key point to give him disadvantage to the roll, which I would like to do that.
You don't have to. He already failed it.
Okay.
I
So
mean, if you want to, I'll roll again. But
I don't know. That's good. So I consider him pretty much like he came down with full force and hit him in the chest. And as he hit him in the chest, his like legs just caved and he fell backwards. So you just see him in the ground with my fist right on his chest. And Riskar would go, I hate orcs. And could I use my bonus to do a flurry attack? Flurry below?
Yeah, definitely.
Insult to injury.
19?
That'll hit. Yeah. Oh, him being incapacitated, you're just pretty much just gonna hit him. So roll for damage.
All right.
There is no him dodging or his armor helping out at all.
I hit him for 10.
Okay. Is that 10 altogether?
Yes. So you just see Riskar on top of him, just pretty much pummeling him, and then he gets up and just keeps looking at him while he's on the ground.
Yeah, and his like mouth is open. It's like his eyes are essentially whited out. He's very obvious, except for a couple of twitches here and there. He definitely looks down for the count. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's it for my turn.
All righty. He can't do anything. So, Balasar?
Yeah.
And then
Balasar was running up to this guy. But upon seeing Riskar jump on him and just knock him out and continue to punch him, he would just kind of come to a halt and just look around and assess the situation now that the threat's kind of been neutralized, and just he looked at some of his companions and goes, someone needs to get to the elder. We need to see if he's safe. And I think at that he would look to Riskar and make sure that give him a nod like, do you have this?
Riskar would look at him and be like, yes.
Well, we'll give it a minute. I will see to say if he wakes up on that. And he would kind of look at maybe if there's some of the other monks that are alive in the courtyard, maybe, and be like, you two, go to the elder's quarters. See if he's okay.
And you were saying that to any that? Are you saying that to a group, the people in your party, or are you saying that to other?
No, any two random monks that happen to be around. If there's
anyone
alive.
you'd most of the people that y'all were with are dead. I'll say that there's one on the ground that actually just has an arrow through the leg, but he's been basically trying to drag himself away from the fight. So there's just a long streak of blood.
Upon kind of noticing that, Rami would grab his quarterstaff, kind of situate himself, go up to this beast of a man, kind of just, essentially like stab him with my quarterstaff one last time just to make sure he stays down. And he'll just be like, he's the one who raised me. It should be me that goes. And he'd start walking towards wherever the clan leader would be.
All right. And what would the rest of y'all be doing? Would y'all be following him, or would y'all be going to do something else?
Balasar would turn just, he cannot go alone. We must
Well,
follow
he's
him.
not the only one that had someone raise him in this temple, so I guess I'll go with him.
Yeah, Riskar would be like, I'm staying here with this one. He must pay for what he has done.
Well,
You must shout if you need any assistance with him.
I will.
Also,
Right, so
don't
just-
let him talk. He's very rude.
So just so that I know, Risgar is staying with the half orc, and the other three of you are going towards wherever the elder would be. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The party.
All right. So we'll take care of you three first, real quick. Balasar, since you're the one that brought it up, where do you think the elder would be? Where would his chambers be? I'm basically throwing it to you. You can add whatever you want to this.
I'm picturing that he would have. He's probably a pretty modest fellow, but I picture wherever his main worship ground, I guess, wherever he goes to like meditate and like his spot, his quarters are going to be just off of that, like a little path. You kind of can go towards there, or you can go a little path, and that's where his quarters are. Kind of separate from the rest of the compound, but still close enough to get to. And I picture that he would be his own little hut kind of thing.
Okay. So would y'all go like around the outside of the temple, or would y'all go through the temple?
Is it just a one-story temple, or is it multi-tier?
No, there's multiple tiers. Yep.
I would probably, since I have 70 foot of movement and probably one of the faster people, I'm probably going to go up and onto the banisters and try to go through the temple in a less likely than battleground. So probably try to jump to the second floor, go through, and then jump down.
Balasar would just book it straight for the quarters.
All right. And Rami?
I'd probably try to take the shortest route possible. Although I know for a fact I can't like start jumping floors. So I'd probably like see this happen and just be like, oh, there he goes. And just start walking. Like, I almost imagine like he's like taking the route to like boost his self-ego, even though he's a monk kind of thing, where it's just like the path is like right on the left of the building. And he's trying to like jump on top of jump to the second floor to get to that left side. And I just start like walking towards the, towards that path.
Yeah, Balasar is straight up like those Naruto kids in high school running down the hallway just towards the quarters. Not even jumping anywhere, he's just poof, gone.
Yeah. All right. So y'all each kind of taking different paths, just like book it in your own ways towards where the elder would be. And it doesn't take a whole lot longer, but Ruko, you're the first one to be able to actually see anything that's happening. And getting kind of this bird's eye view down upon it really is just kind of like this mother-in-law apartment kind of setup. There's just this small little hut just off of one of the sides of the temple, actually next to this very large and beautiful waterfall that y'all built several years back as kind of like a meditation garden. And you look down and you see the elder sprawled on the ground, and you see a man standing over him that looks somewhat familiar. There's something about him, but you can't just quite put your finger on it. But he is standing over him with two sickles in hand.
From the height I'm currently at, does it look like I could see if there's blood from the master as well?
There doesn't look like there's any there doesn't look like to be a pool of blood or anything. But if maybe there was a smaller wound or something, you wouldn't be able to tell.
I will go ahead and spend 1 key point to do the leap of winds or the step of the winds, to do the epic kind of anime leap down and kind of just land over him, like right face to face with the guy, going, "And who are you?" And have this ball of energy just kind of start swirling inside my hands and going between my fingertips.
Russ.
He's gonna do a superhero landing.
Terrible on the knees. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. So yeah, as you land and as you come face to face with this individual, you're momentarily like in shock, and we'll stop right there to go over. We'll say Rami is the next one to kind of happen upon this scene. So you see Ruko standing, more so facing you, standing over the elder who's laying on the ground, and you see an individual from the back. And one of the things that you kind of make out about him is that he has like a very light blue skin tone. And after connecting that, and then you recognize the hair, and you recognize the overall outfit, and you start piecing these things together in just an instant, and you realize not only do you know who this, or does this guy look familiar, you know who this is, and so does everyone else. And then you're going to know that this is, let me make sure I'm going to say this right. Notes, yay. You know that this is a gentleman by the name of Lance. And he is a Genasi just like you. And he is actually a former monk. He's a former comrade. That you and he essentially had a falling out, and he completely left the temple. This is the first time you've seen him in about a year.
Kind of being taken back at this. He's a water genasi just as I am, right? Brother, why have you come back? Why have you forsaken our master?
And his head just kind of slightly turns back, realizing that you're there. And you just hear him more clearly. Ruko would hear him. But you would hear, both of you would hear him say that, "Don't call me that. I am no brother of yours."
But brother, we've trained together. We have so much that has happened between us. Why? Kind of running up towards them and like falling to my knees next to the elder. Why? I kind of almost imagine like G.I. Joe, where the when they were kids, how he's on the floor and the one kid just kind of stares at the elder, and I'm just staring at him. Now, do I notice anything about the elder?
Getting close enough to him and kind of getting down on his level, you can tell that there's faint breathing. It seems like maybe he was just knocked out, that he doesn't initially he's not bleeding. He's you don't see any puncture wounds or anything, even though Lance has 2 sickles out, as if he was prepared to fight. But the elder does not seem to be injured other than being knocked unconscious.
Under his breath, he'd be like, "Thank heavens." Someone else can step in at any point. Should someone else want to say something in the middle of this?
Yeah. Well, we'll say real quick that Balasar, you get there kind of at this point, just in time to see almost like this flash of Rami going from one end of a courtyard to the other, and is now kneeling next to the fallen elder. At the same time, having Ruko standing kind of over him very defensively. And you see a former comrade standing across from them, Lance, someone who has been gone for about a year now. What would you like to do?
Balthazar kind of run up and seeing this, just kind of slide to a stop and just, no. You traitor, traitor, and just bolt at him with his glaive pulled out. And what he's going to do is he's going to attempt to not attack him, but he's going to use the butt end of his glaive to kind of trip him.
Okay.
To the ground. However you want to handle that, I don't know.
I guess. What's your save DC?
That's a good question.
13 plus your wisdom modifier.
That's right, 15. That's right. That's 15.
15? Okay. I highly doubt that. Yeah, so you're going to trip him up.
All right, so then upon doing that, you'll trip him with the butt end, and almost in a fluid motion, you don't even see it. It flips it so that the blade end of the glaive is at his throat. Lance, why are you here?
And he looks up at you with, it's actually more, you get this feeling of like disgust in his eyes and in the face that he's making, like he's talking to a beggar or like he's talking to a leper. But his eyes never leave you. And he says that, oh my God, he says, you all blindly follow a false saint. And he points down at the fallen master, and who has built this temple on lies and blood. And you don't even see it. And then he's starts kind of mimicking something y'all have heard before. It's one of the proverbs the elder has said before. He says, life is only precious to those who want it. What kind of philosophy is that? And with that, if you will all roll initiative and post that in the chat for me.
I would also like to do an insight on him to see if it's just like he just seems angry for being let go, or if he actually is believing like that's false information for some reason. And I got a 23.
Okay. You can tell that his anger and disgust is really what he's feeling. And that, as far as you can tell, the things he is saying, at least he believes, are true. And while that's kind of happening, Rizgar, you're over with the half-orc, and it's only about a minute, maybe 2 has passed since the others have left. and he's still laying on the ground, head tilted back, mouth wide open. And out of the corner of your eye, you kind of see something move, and it's his fingers starting to twitch. And then all his muscles and bones start to tense up and to crack as he almost looks like he's stretching, getting out of bed. And he kind of starts to sit up and rubs his head. How would you like to react to this?
Well, since Rizgar is like right on top of him, looking at him, he would like kneel down and just grab him by the neck of his shirt, and he would just whisper to him. Usually, I don't hit people who are unarmed or defenseless, but you don't deserve any better. And then I would just attack him, punch him in the face.
All right, give me an attack roll with advantage.
First attack was 16. The other one was a 19.
Those will both hit.
Okay. All right, the damage is 28. And then, out of anger, Racecar would just keep punching him, so I'm going to use Flurry of Blows on him.
Okay.
Do I attack roll again?
Yeah, you're going to give me 2 more attack rolls.
Yeah. I got a 13 and a 19.
13 and a 19?
Yes.
Okay, the 13 will miss, the 19 will hit.
Alright, that was 9. And I can see him just like punch him. And then the second hit, he goes and like it erases his face because he's just so angry that he can't concentrate. And after that, he would just like drop him back on the ground.
Yeah, and you quickly just slam your fist into his face 3 times, and you're aware enough to know that there's some small cuts and stuff from the jagged teeth and tusks, and that although that most of the blood on your knuckles is his, and you go to drop him back kind of down. Almost probably expecting to be unconscious again. And it's almost like he stops himself before he hits the ground, and he just lurches up. And as he does, he tries to bring a fist around to hit you. I doubt a 13 is going to hit.
Nope. I have a question. Since he attacked me, can I counterattack, or since he missed, it doesn't work?
For your ability thing that we read over?
Well, I know that's if I ready my attack, but I do get a reaction attack.
Yeah, reaction is, or for an opportunity attack, it's if they move outside of your range.
I did. Okay.
Or unless something else tells you that you can. So we'll go ahead and take another turn with you, Jose, and then we'll go back to the other guys. So it is your turn. What would you like to do?
So he's up right now, right?
He's basically sitting up at the waist, like he's sitting on the ground essentially.
Gotcha. Does he look like he's hurt at all, or?
I mean, he's bleeding. But he doesn't seem to be like moving any slower or anything into that nature. He's pretty banged up in the face.
And could I trip him?
Could you trip him?
Yeah.
He's already on the ground.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, since I'm pretty much on top of him, I'm gonna do the same thing, try to grab him and just go at him.
Okay. So yeah. So give me however many attack rolls plus do them at advantage because he is prone.
All right, 18 and 19.
Those will both hit.
All right, the total is 30.
All right. So what does it look like as you essentially end this guy's life?
So Risk are out of like blind rage. He's just punching this guy, punching him, just like screaming, and he just hits him with like an uppercut or something. He hits him right in the neck, and all you hear is like a crunch, like. And he goes again, and he just noticed that he's like limp, and he drops him. He looks for a second at his hands, and he's like, his hands are shaking. He realized what he did because he came into this temple to try to like be in peace and calm down his inner demons. And he just gets up and he try to gather himself, and then he realizes that his friends, his brothers are gone, so he would like turn around and just start running their way.
All right. So we're going to go back over to a little soiree that's happening over here at the waterfall. Balasar, it is your turn first.
So going off that comment he made about the elder's proverb, when blade still at his throat, I would just kind of look down at him and just, this man, he offers redemption. Take it from someone who's ended far too many lives. This is a new start. What he's done in his past is of no concern. He has given me a family. If you can't see that, then you truly have no place here. And at that, I'm going to pull the blade up towards me so it slices his neck a little bit. 18. Is it 19 hit? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it cut out a little bit right there for me. Yes, a 19 will hit.
Okay. Where's it at? Oh, that's the worst damage possible. That's going to be 5 damage off that. And then as it pulls up, I'm going to take my one hand off of it and just open fist. I'm going to unarmed strike. I'm going to shove it right in his gut. Just an open fist. And do a stunning strike on him. Hopefully. But that's a 22 on that one.
Oh, yeah, that'll hit.
And the unarm's a D8, right?
Yes.
D8 plus strength. So
Now, can we interfere with our own party's attacks?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. That's, like I said, use combat kind of like an RP situation. So if y'all really want to do something out of turn, just kind of state it, and we'll figure out if it's possible or not.
Yeah, no, I kind of almost imagine it as he's kind of going in for that unarmed strike. Rami would just be like, no, he was once a follower, and he has lost his way. He does not deserve death any more than any of us do. We just must help him find his way once again and try to get Balsar to not actually end up, hitting him with the unarmed strike.
I would say Balasar is probably in this trance-like state, so if he wouldn't even acknowledge that he heard you. So I'm gonna say, I don't know. What would you? I would like if you want to roll a persuasion versus something from that I roll, but I don't know what I would roll.
Insight to see if you can try to even recognize his voice.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, I'll roll an insight versus your persuasion.
Nat 20. I don't give a damn.
My voice echoes into your soul.
I rolled a 23.
Well, okay, that's before my hold on, persuasion. Let me see if I have it.
Hold on. What's 18 plus 7?
Oh,
18 plus 7?
25. Sorry, 25.
I don't know how you want to do that because I got a nat, but technically he did outweigh me in the.
Yeah, we'll say that your voice does not reach him, but if you wanted to, try and physically stop him, whether grabbing his weapon or like doing something to prevent this from happening, then that would be cool.
I think kind of realizing I hate you all, by the way, for this. Realizing that trying to speak to one of my fellow comrades, Rami would jump onto his brother. You cannot kill him, and you'd kind of see, even though like for the most part, like his face is fully composed of water, you can kind of tell that there are certain pieces of water that are actually coming off of his face. You cannot kill him. So even if that means I have to take the damage or suffer from the stunning blow, I'm gonna do that too.
Ruko is actually going to do a shove action against Balazar because I rolled a 26 insight, seeing the honesty in Rami's words. I'm going to do a shove action against Balazar to interrupt his attack.
Let's remember who the real bad guy is here, all right, guys?
Yeah, believe me, if the other guy decides to attack, he's on fire.
No, that is pretty great though. You got this one monk, one friend attacking a now enemy, and two of the party are like, no.
All right. Well,
all right.
Well, we're supposed to be religious. We're supposed to help those who have lost their way. It only makes sense. We're not executioners.
Well, I used to be a soldier,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you know, six and one. But
I juggle.
no, against Rami's like jumping on my back and staying that, I rolled an insight just to do it, and I got a natural 1. So I think at that point, like he was attempting to like, you know, an avatar like that chick could do, block his chi by hitting him in that thing and trying to stun him. His arm would just stop short and just take a deep breath. You are right, Rami. You are right. This is not Goru's way. And he would just back up and just put his hands up and just step off.
All right. Once again, I'm horrible with names. Every time I look at it, I'm like, Rizgar? Can you pronounce it for me one more time so maybe I can write it?
You actually said it right that time.
Rizgar? Okay, cool. Then I will stick with that then. Okay, so Rizgar, you let me ask you, which path would you have taken to go back to your comrades? Would you have taken the path directly through the temple, the one around the side of it, or done some kung fu ninja stuff and jumped up and over onto the roof?
I would have probably taken the side, but I would look up and just start running through the side of the building. That shit.
All right, so you get there just in time. You see Balsar standing there with one open palm out, about to strike somebody, and who's on the ground, sprawled out. And you see Rami like latched onto him, trying to prevent him from hitting this individual. And you probably see Ruko kind of shove him at the last minute as well, trying to stop whatever was going on. And you're able to tell from this angle that who the individual is. You recognize that it is Lance, somebody that disappeared about a year ago and has now come back. But they seem to be in some kind of altercation. You also see the elder laying behind your current comrades on the ground, seemingly unconscious. As you're taking all this in, you see out of like your peripherals up above, you see something move. And as you try and track it, it's just it's something that's moving almost quicker than the eye can see, but your eyes are so trained that you're starting to close in on it. If you'll give me a investigation or perception check.
All right, I'll do perception since I get a bonus to that.
Okay.
18.
Okay, that's enough. So it takes a second, but your eyes start to be able to catch on to these movements, and you see two sickles flying through the air at amazing speeds. At the same time, I'll say that that Balasar, you're the one that sees this since you were more focused on the enemy, is that the sickles that he had in each hand are now gone.
Would I be able to use a reaction, or with them on my back, I don't know if it would be possible, to try and run after one of them if I'm quick enough?
One of the sickles. Give me a perception to see if you can find them.
Is the room dark or no?
No, it wouldn't be.
Say a whopping 4.
Yes, you look around and you actually can't see where they have gone to. They seem to have just disappeared.
I think at that point I would just... I would still see the sickles are gone, though, right? Like, I noticed that much.
Yeah, you notice that they're gone. You just can't figure out where they went.
I'm just going to let out just, you fools! Look at his hands! Look at his hands!
I look at his hand.
And you also see that the sickles are gone.
While this is going on, Risker would be like, we're not alone.
Lance, where are your weapons? Who's here with you?
And he just kind of gives this smile, like satisfaction. And you all kind of see his hands lift just ever so slightly. And then there's these weird weaving of movements. You would notice kind of like the hand signs that y'all make during meditation and prayer. It seems like he's starting to make these on each hand. And if you would all roll initiative for me.
Do you want us to roll initiative to re-roll a new initiative?
Oh, yeah, you already did earlier. Okay, so we'll act on this. But if...
It's Riskar's.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that works out, I believe. All right. So, Balasar, you will be acting first. You see him making these like weird movements with his hands. You notice that they're gone. How would you like to proceed with this?
I think now, and I'll re-roll it if I need to. Seeing that he's being a little sneaky, I'm now going to try and attempt to finish the unarmed strike into the stunning strike into his side, even fighting off whatever's on my back.
Rico no longer is trying to stop him. He's obviously doing something weird. He's not going to try to interrupt him now.
So I probably have to re-roll for it, right? I don't get to keep twice.
Yeah, go ahead and re-roll for it. Sorry.
It's a 19 again.
Yeah, so that will hit.
All right, so that'll be 6 damage, and then he has to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Nat 20. So that's going to be a 21 altogether.
Yeah,
so you definitely hit him. But I'll say that almost memory starts to kind of remember to pop back up, and you remember that has never really worked well on him. It's a common strike that's taught here, and he seems to have both he and Rami, for some reason, both have this immunity to this kind of strike. It's been theorized that it's probably their body or something.
Okay. I think at this point, then he's going to just, and I'm going to give the other two a chance to kind of react here with this. He's just going to start breathing heavy, getting angry, and just look at the other two and just move. I'm just going to kind of wait for them to see what they do before he does this.
Ruko, having seen him doing weird movement with his hands and thinking that he's now providing a threat towards his remaining brothers and his master, who's still somewhat alive, goes, "As you wish." And I do a backflip, double knee, and just land on top of him. But what's different about this technique is light starts going around my body as also a dragon head kind of goes around my body. I land down and just this energy of white aura just goes rippling out as I'm going to cast the Searing Arc Strike for my 6th level ability. I'm going to spend 9 points into it, so it's a 10d6 damage to him, and he has to do a dexterity roll.
I should say I wasn't done with my second attack. I was just giving you guys the chance to move before I.
Do you want to try to stun him again so he doesn't get a chance?
I wasn't going to stun him, but I'm just giving you guys a chance to move if you want to before I do this. Like
do you want to do it
physically
like
move, not like take your turn, but like physically move.
Oh, well, no, I was going to do this as my thing. So you see me jump into the air if you want to continue your attack.
Yeah, and then I'll just kind of look at Rami too, because I'm pretty sure he's still latched to my back.
I think I'd probably swing around to your front and jump off and dang it, I just had it. Where did it go? I think it's Gust of Wind, but I lost my page. And like try to push him back away from my brother. Hold on, let me find the name of it.
Oh, pushing me away?
Yeah, like push you away. But essentially, like use like Air Force, Air Force. Yeah,
the Navy's using Air Force.
I'd like to use my Marines against this Air Force.
Oh man, I lost it. But yeah, I don't know. Well, essentially just push you back. But that's about it. I can't find where I had it for the actual stat, so I'll just say that I'm pushing you. Like
yeah, I was saying it probably a strength anyway, which
Yeah.
I rolled a natural 20 on.
You ain't going nowhere.
So I just kind of like breathe it, and I'm like, okay. And then as I keep breathing heavy, you see this white. It's not a light, but just this white start to crawl up Balasar's chest because he doesn't wear a shirt, and up his throat, and he just screams down at Lance, and these pure white icicles just burst out of his mouth, and he has to make a con save.
It's a 17 on the die.
God damn it, that does it.
It would be an 18. I mean, if that makes you feel any better.
Doesn't, but okay.
So does he still take damage or anything from this?
If it's Dragon Breath,
the breath weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he gets
still
half.
half.
It's okay. I got to find one more d6 though. Hold on.
One more d6. How many d6 are you rolling?
5. That's 10, I guess. Half of 21 would be 10.
All right.
And then I am gonna jump and do a front flip and land behind Rami and Ruko, and just look at him and be like, "You need to trust me."
Now, Ruko, you jumped into the air, right?
Yep.
All right.
And I started
So you're-
glowing crazy.
Yeah. So go for it.
I'm going to still double knee, land on top of him, yelling out, "Dragon Rage Soul Crusher!" and just land on top of him, because anime. And he needs to do a DC 17 dexterity save.
He will make that.
All right, so he takes half of my 10d6 damage.
Isn't it at disadvantage seeing as
It is. I rolled twice. I got a 12 and a 14. Plus 8.
That's a good roll so far. 12, 17, 19, 23. 24, 29, 32, 34, 36. So that's 18 points of radiant damage that runs through his body.
Crap. Alrighty. With that crazy shenanigans, is there anything that you or anybody else would like to is there anything you would like to do? And how are the rest of you reacting to this supernova
To the
giant
technique of Ruko.
Yeah.
I want to backhand Ruko with my quarterstaff off of my brother.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want me to roll an attack with my quarterstaff to
Yeah,
attack him off.
give me an attack roll with that.
So +7, so 20.
20 does hit me.
And you're trying to knock him off, right?
Yeah, but I mean, essentially, it's like, you know how the quarterstaff, they like line it up along the thing and then just poof and like knock him off. I still think he'd take some sort of damage from that.
Oh no, yeah, he's gonna take damage. I'm just trying to figure out how hard you're hitting this guy. If you're trying to get him off of Lance, or if you're just trying to be like, hey, it's okay.
No, I'm trying to knock his ass off. Like,
Okay, so it's still a shove action then?
Huh?
It's still a shove action then?
Well,
that's how you basically force movement. You attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even find. Last time I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. The bull rush and the. I can't remember what. I don't even know. That might be honestly 4th edition.
No, it's something in.
Points of damage.
I know it's athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
Right. Actually, let's actually just look at table of contents and look for shove action.
Either way, you're taking 5 points of damage.
I will definitely take that. $195. All right, 195, bottom right corner, shoving a creature. You can replace one of your attack actions to try to push an opponent. You do a strength athletics versus the strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics of your target.
Okay. All right. So Josh, if you'll give me an acrobatics, and then Kyle, if you'll give me either Josh's athletics, and then Kyle, you can use.
I'm doing acrobatics because I am not strong.
Cool.
Did you want me to re-roll or just use the same roll?
And
Reroll for it.
roll.
Yeah.
And I rolled a 19. I have a plus 10, so I've got a 29.
All right, so 15 on die. Let me. And I just
Plus
add
30.
I just add my acrobatics, right? Or athletics, right?
Correct.
16.
Yeah. So you're not
I
strong
have a
enough.
plus 7 to acrobatics. We can always switch that around. I can do acrobatics.
Even then, your strike to get him off is not powerful enough. It's probably
So basically, you hit my chest, but I end up rolling with it, and instead of having it glide off my shoulder while I stay on top of him. I didn't do a pin action, so I can't really pin him, but I stay right over him.
okay.
Fighting styles of annoying people by doing dance moves and just going with their attacks.
Hey, right on.
You're not the only one like water.
Lance, being under you, has like veins bulging in his head and his neck, just from trying to gasp for air. From the forces just imploded into his chest, and after a second, probably during that same second that you were struck by Rami, he kind of regains his senses, and there's this quick motion with his hands again. And I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws. Well, a dexterity saving throw. You're looking for a DC 16 or better.
I rolled an 8, but because of monkness, I have a plus 10 once again, so that's an 18.
Holy shit. I got a 28. 18 plus 9. I mean 19 plus 9.
No.
I got 11 on die, but I got a plus 7 to dex, so 18 total.
Okay. So you're all able to avoid it. Just at the last second, you all probably catch glimpses out of the corner of your eye, and in these slight seconds that you're dodging, maybe like in front of your face, just an inch away, as you pull back, you see one of these sickles spinning in the air and fly past you, and you're all kind of having to artfully dodge out of the way of these things, as you fully come to realize what is happening, that these two sickles that Lance was holding are now flying and spinning around the room at extremely high speeds. Now that y'all are fully aware that they are there, you can kind of keep track of them, but it's still really hard to see them, especially if you're going to be trying to also do anything else.
And after that little instance, Ruko's saying, Rami, he's trying to kill us. We have to defend ourselves, and sometimes that means putting down the enemy.
Yes.
He's not
Think
an
about what
enemy.
he did.
He's my brother.
And the master is our master. I'm not saying kill him, I'm saying put him down.
What's the difference?
Knock him out so we can place him somewhere else.
Are we not your brothers too? Are all the dead bodies you see out in the courtyard not your brothers too?
At that, you'd see his face kind of drop. You all are, but he's my blood. I don't. If anyone must
Do we
do
not
it,
bleed
I
like you?
will. And you'd see Rami, like his whole physique would drop. You know, his shoulders would drop and everything. He'd just look down, turn around to his brother, and say, "I'm sorry, brother. and he is going to use liquid tendrils, which is a bonus action. Has to make a dex save, which I'm assuming is against my save DC, which would be 15. Or take 3d10 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Kind of at the same time that that you're doing this and this is happening, Rizgar, it's going to be your turn, so you get to act however you would like, and yours will have precedent.
I gotcha. Well, Rizgar will see them, fighting each other, wondering what the heck is going on. But he would notice that his master's right there laying down, unconscious. So while they're doing what they're doing, he would just start running and go up to the master and try to grab him and put him in his shoulder so that way he can get him out of the room. So that way they can defuse whatever's going on.
Yeah, and that's not hard for you. You get back there. I assume that you every once in a while, way I see it happening is one of these spinning sickles will come darting towards you, and you'll have to dodge real quick to get over to the elder. And you scoop him up without really any issue at all, and then you start making your way away from this conflict, right?
Right, and right before he leaves, like, the double doors to get out of there, he would turn around and he would go, whatever happening now needs to stop now. We got more important things to do, like survive. And then he would just run off with the master and try to find like a safe spot to like take care of him.
All right. Where would you be taking him? I'll let you tell me that.
Well, I would imagine that right beside the temple there's like benches and trees and stuff, and he would try to just lay him on a bench somewhere where is, he can't be seen that well, but still I have like a good view, so that way I can see if anybody's coming and protect them, shield them if I have to.
Okay. And then so Rami, you're using, I think you said liquid tendrils, and he has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
All right. How about this? Ruko, would you still be on top of Lance?
I'm imagining that when the attack actually took place with his sickles, it probably actually forced me to roll off of him at least slightly. So I probably am within the 5-foot range of him, but not on top of him anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. He got a 13 on that save, which I doubt makes it.
Yeah, no, it's a 15. So it's 3d10 bludgeoning.
Interesting.
And well, he's already knocked prone, so I guess he's pulled 25 feet. Hold on. 15 damage. Then I'd say he's like pulled away from Ruko. Granted, I'm close to him, but not too close. So he's pulled closer to me by a couple feet.
All right. And is there anything else that you would like to do on your turn?
That's actually just a bonus action.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
So, I'm trying to make sure I don't step out of bounds here. Can I this is really your flavor aspect of this, but being a water genasi, and you know how water genasi can create or destroy water.
Mhm.
Would I be able to destroy like his water heart?
I think that's absolutely fitting and awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes to that.
Yeah, because I can cast shape water to create or destroy water once per day. So
Okay, so you describe that whole scene out to me. You tell us what happened and what that looks like.
you'd see as Rami's entire body begins to kind of thin out. You'd see water dripping from his face as his whole body begins to thin. You can tell that he's crying. He looks down to Lance. Brother, I'm sorry. They have been there for me when you left. I'm so sorry. You should have came to me when you were planning on leaving. Maybe we could have resolved this before it got to this point. I didn't want to lose my brother. But you leave me no choice. And upon that, you'd see as Rami places his hand down on Lance's chest. And you'd see Rami's hand just kind of start to seep into Lance's chest, going through his watery skin. And he'd just simply make a fist around the beating heart. I can almost imagine that as I hold his watery heart, everyone around would actually be able to hear the heartbeat and how fast it's racing because of, just that's just how I imagine it. And I begin to squeeze softly at first, and then realizing that because he's my brother, I want him to have a quick end, and just squeezes it completely and destroys his watery heart.
And as his heart essentially collapses in your hand, and his body is still living for that brief second, you look into his eyes and you see that there's almost a hint of hope and of peace, that this is kind of like the final thing to put him to rest. You're not sure if it was you killing him or the situation altogether, but somehow in this he has found some semblance of peace. And then his body falls completely limp back onto the floor as the two sickles that were spinning around the room, one slams into a wall, embedding it into itself into it, and the other skittering across the floor, falling still, not too far from all of you. With this, we're going to take a quick little 5-minute break, go to the restroom, smoke a cigarette, do whatever you want to do, and we'll meet back up in about 5 minutes if everybody's cool with that.
I need a minute after that scene, so yeah, that was deep.
I'm sorry. I really, once he said it was a water genasi, I had to make my brother. Like, I just had to. And, like, once you guys made the set decision that he had to die, I realized if anyone had to kill him, it had to be me.
And that was a great way.
That was phenomenal. I almost teared up there. That was so good.
Ruko's gonna be like, wait, that said we could knock him out.
Knock him out, crush his heart.
No,
I mean, you're the one that freaking roaring tiger, crouching dragon, freaking did his butt. Like,
raging dragon, soul crusher is a great move.
to knock him out. Let's knock him out using my ultimate attack.
He obviously knew how to dodge.
Like,
I'll be back in just
like,
a little bit, y'all.
for you to like say how he dodged, for Jim to say how he dodged, because I was just like, he's prone. How the hell is he like?
I'm guessing that
You just went like Super Saiyan 7 just to knock him out.
landed kind of more onto his shoulder than I did on his chest.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna go get some water.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a break real quick.
Yeah, bro.
Be back. Oh, we are still live. Hello. I didn't really introduce myself too much at the very beginning, so I guess I could do a little character startup while the other guys are still away. I am Kyle. I am playing a wood elf monk named Ruko. Originally stated to be kind of lighthearted, but a little fun being the crazy, like, go-lucky guy that does all the weird super moves. How's it going, man? So far, he's just been an orphan at this temple. So when the master was in trouble, he definitely wanted to go, but he wasn't sure about leaving Rizgar her originally, thinking that if he was going to be one of the fastest people to go there, he was going to just rush there and possibly one other might join him. But when he did get there, and he saw somebody standing over his master, he was defensive because it was a father figure to him. So far, my original plan is to keep just messing around, having fun. So far, I'm having fun playing with these guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, y'all.
All right, so while we're still waiting on Jason to get back, I wanted to let everybody know during this little intermission that this game is kind of meant to be, whether it's good or not, it is meant to be kind of a promotional type thing for a company that me and Josh recently started, RPG Enlightenment, where we're going to be putting out different systems. We're going to be putting out some merchandise. We just had our first sale on one of our shirts. We have a couple other little things that we've got out right now. But our main project is working on a system called Aventura, and we're trying to get that up and going. It's almost there, and I say that very lightly. Things are written. How about that? Things are written. But I want to thank all my players for coming and doing this with us. I was actually worried that people wouldn't go for a all monk game, but there seemed to be some genuine interest in that. So thank y'all for coming and playing with us tonight.
It was pretty fun game so far.
That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, y'all feel free to flavor things in and make things complicated and have, like Josh did. He really took to one character because that was his brother, and he really acted upon that. I definitely encourage all of you to do the exact same thing.
Oh, what'd I miss?
We were talking smack.
All right, that's cool. I can
We're
hear.
saying that we might have done better without Balthazar.
Yeah, we don't like lizards.
Well, no, I don't like Balthazar. Yep. Balthazar is fine.
Everybody hates the Dragonborn.
It happens. It happens. All right. So we'll jump back into things. So y'all have just witnessed Rami kill his brother, a former comrade at this monastery, at this temple. And you've seen Rizgar take off with the elder. You know that he's going to get him somewhere safe. And then I'm going to throw this to y'all. What would y'all like to do? What would y'all be doing at this point?
Alisar is going to walk up to Rami and put his hand on his shoulder and just, I know that could not have been easy. I know what he meant to you. He was a brother to all of us. We are all family. But I know what he was to you. Have I ever told you who I was before the temple?
Almost not. wanting to respond, overcome with the grief of watching his brother die and being the one that killed him. You'd see the pain in his face as he looks to you. No. And at this point, it is because of you that he is dead. So I do not care. As Rami just kind of gets up, shrugging off Balazar's hand and walking towards where Rizgard took the Geo.
As he's walking away, Balazar will just let out, "My brother, my friend, is dead because of me as well. That is why I'm at this temple. My emotions overcame me. I was not always the tranquil one that I am now. I was a soldier. A cog. And when time came, me and my friend were face to face with a great enemy. In my lust to take him down, as were my orders, I left my friend exposed." As he pulls out this dagger, it's still stained with blood. This dagger was plunged into his heart. Because of me.
You'd see Rami stop after maybe 5-10 feet hearing him say this. He'd turn around slowly. "You call what you just did tranquil? You call attacking a man who's down tranquil? He was not only your monk brother, but he was my actual brother. And you attacked him while he was down. Granted, my brother is wrong for what he has done to our elder." And you'd see him probably struggle to even stay standing with the weight upon Rami's shoulders. But it is because of the fact that you could not stay tranquil that he is dead. And then Rami would look over to Ruko. "You don't even let me get started with you. I thought out of all of us here, you would have known and followed the laws that we have set. I am ashamed of what we are. Just ashamed."
Ruko remains silent but stares seemingly in a different direction. Passing through his mind, he feels he's still right, that the enemy needed to be taken down. And he's he knows that in his mind that a lot of times combat, when it comes into, even when it's your closest friends, it becomes hard to deal with it. That when it becomes this emotional attachment associated to the death associated to it. He does not take enjoyment out of the having to fight and kill Lance. He, in fact, he's sort of tearing up as he's being reprimanded, feeling that one of the tenets is that provide that you are strong, the land will provide. It is true that you'll provide the land with your strength, and while Lance was against them, he was still a strong opponent. And even at his death, he feels that his strength will provide to the land, which will provide to them. He doesn't say a word, though. He accepts his beratement silently as he is waiting for the others to walk away first before he turns around.
As this is happening, and you all probably silently agree to finish this another time, that there are more pressing things to happen, you hear just loud explosions, one after the other. Just boom, 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 boom. You see dust start to fly up, and you realize that it's over from the direction that Rizgar has taken the Elder. And it is in that direction that these explosions and this debris and this dust is falling from. I would assume that all of you would take off, but that's completely your call.
Oh, for sure. Balasar's just off.
Ruko takes his very long ponytail that goes past the crack of his butt, basically, and tightens the wrapping that keeps it tight. Basically as a, like, get your mind in the game kind of situation before double moving towards that direction.
Rami probably takes a little bit before he actually goes. He probably is questioning to himself, is all of this even worth it? Kind of looking down at Lance's cold, dead body. He shakes his head, remembers how much the Elder means to him, and runs in that direction as well.
And
for no other reason but to protect the Elder.
And as you all start to round this this corner of the temple, you're caught in the shockwave of several more blasts, just blowing large chunks of the ground up and sending chunks of debris flying. And you see Rizgar on the ground picking himself up. There's a few scratches on him. There's some debris covering him. A little bit worse for wear, but he's still alive. And you see off to the side the limp body of the Elder. And directly in front of Rizgar, about 5 feet in the air, almost hovering there, is this very young, very attractive Yanti woman. And she has a finger pointed out that these almost like these orbs of light are shooting from. There seems to be no end to them, and they strike the ground in random places, and there's chunks of earth and wood flying everywhere. She doesn't even seem to be phased by y'all coming around this corner. Balasar, you're going to act first in this initiative. We're going to use the initiative from the last combat.
Balasar immediately looking, just assessing, sees the elder, sees Riskar, and then looks up at this young teen woman. And as he was running, he had his glaive on his back. He takes the scimitar off of his belt, this little sash that he keeps it in, and he just breaks off running towards the young teen woman. As he gets close, you see him pull the scimitars apart. You thought it was one, but it turns into two. And he just goes and tries to cut off this arm that is outstretched with the finger. Just both slashes just coming down one after the other. An 18 and a 22.
Yep, those are both hit.
And that's 14 damage.
And if you could give me a dex saving throw real quick.
That is a 14.
So close yet so far away. So she looks at you as you cut into her, obviously wounding her a fair deal. She looks at you, and her eyes glow red, and this flame begins to creep up your leg and starts to engulf you, and you're going to take 9 points of fire damage as she uses Hellish Rebuke on you. And then if there's nothing else you would like to do, it would be Ruko's turn.
Nope, there is not. No.
Because the master is still in danger, I can see that Riskar is getting up and seems relatively fine, injured possibly, but not unconscious like the master. Ruko is going to take the initiative to rush to him, use his action to grab hold of him, and use a key point to do Step of the Wind to make sure that he can get out of the area as well, to at least get him away from the cannon blast of arcane energy going around, and place him into a quick little nook. If you want, I can do perception and try to find a good hiding spot.
No, I think it just described to me where you put him.
All right. I'm imagining that in the wreckage, I'm not sure exactly where we were going originally, but there's possibly like a small like cave in the back that's used for storage and possibly to go to if there's a attack to put all the injured or younglings associated to this. Obviously, I'm not going to run that way because currently that's blocked off by a Yanti woman. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to rush back towards the monastery slightly and go into one of the dojos and lift one of the mats and open up a small trap door that has a little hiding spot and place him there in hopes that he doesn't get found out.
Right on.
As a kid, I used to hide in there all the time.
Right on. I like it. All right. So this Yanti woman her eyes go back to normal. And she still has one finger pointed out as this arcane cannonballs essentially are being launched out seemingly at random and just striking the ground, exploding upon impact. And she points one at she points her other finger at Balasar, and this orb of light begins to shine right there on the tip of her finger, and it starts to grow larger and larger and larger, and seemingly point blank range just fires this large ball that seems to expand as it exits from her finger. And where is it? And this is essentially just a reflavored magic missile. So you're going to take 15 points of damage. And yes, just in case anybody was knowing or wanted to know, Balasar, you have like the faintest hint of strawberries in the back of your mouth, like the back of your throat. It is strawberry flavored. And that is Rizgar, it is your turn. Basically what's been happening, as soon as you took off with the Elder, as soon as you got out of range, as soon as you rounded this corner, is seemingly like she was waiting for you. Finger outstretched, that same similar ball of light on the tip, and she has just been bombarding you with these blasts since she has engaged you. What would you like to do?
Well, Riskar would like look up, and you can tell he's mad, and he would be like, "You attack our temple, you attack our brothers, and now you attack our master." And he would just like kneel down for a second and jump up, like leap into the air, and try to like grab her by the head and like DDT her to the ground. So
all right. So we're going to treat that as a grapple.
okay.
So give me a athletics check.
Oh shit! I got 15 plus 5. That's 20.
Okay, yeah, she had a 12. So it's gonna happen. So you get up and you grab her essentially around the neck, around the head, and what are you trying to do with her?
I just want to like grab her and like just pretty much pull all my force down and just bring her into the ground, like her head first, just smash into the ground.
Okay. I guess give me an attack roll.
I get 18.
Yeah, that'll hit. So roll damage as if it was an unarmed strike.
Good. 14. And that's just one hit, I would imagine, right?
We're gonna count it as 2, one for the actual grappling her and one for slamming her essentially.
Okay, so I can roll again damage then?
No, the grapple takes up.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Now you could use your bonus action to do whatever.
Okay, I'll bonus action and
You could
flurry
also
of
use a
blows.
key point to do an extra unarmed strike if you like.
He'd be able to do 2.
Yeah, with a key point he can do 2 more.
Yeah.
Bonus action he can do 1.
I'll do a flurry of blows and pretty much just like elbow her in the back of the head.
Okay, so give me 2 attack rolls, both at advantage. And you're looking for an 11 to beat her, by the way.
Okay, well that works because I got a 16 and a 12.
All right, so yeah, so roll me damage for both of those.
Total is 24.
All right. So I like how this kind of worked out. So you start slamming and pounding her, and there's this moment where you kind of feel like the life leave her. And in the quickest instance, it's almost like her face reappeared on the back, like it melded into her head and then came out on the other side. And the same thing kind of looks like it happened with the whole body, where the hands seemingly turn around and switch directions, like now she is laying on her back instead of on her front. And her hand reaches up and grabs your throat. And she screams at the top of her lungs, and there's tears streaming down her face. Even if I die here, as long as I can take at least one of you with me, it'll be worth it. All the death will be for nothing. And I want everybody, all of you, to make a dexterity saving throw.
Am I still in the area of it when I had left with the master?
You would not be.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a key point to re-roll that. For sure.
I got a 22.
Uh, 16. I re-rolled 1 point higher.
All right. So Josh and Jason, you're going to take 32 points of necrotic damage. And Jose, you're going to take, somehow, because you were the closest to her, you're going to take 18 points of necrotic damage as her body begins, starting like in her chest, begins to expand this black orb that's very slowly at first expanding and then starts to expand faster and faster until it engulfs her body. Jose, you're able to get away before it engulfs your hand, her hand, and your throat and your entire body. You're able to lurch away and get away from her. And as it's engulfed your body, it shrinks down to like the size of a marble and then just explodes with shockwave after shockwave of necrotic energy that washes over all of you except for Ruko, who has kind of left the area for the time being. As all this is happening, Ruko, you are going to enter the scene once again, probably just in the wake of what is happening.
So coming in, seeing is it just necrotic energy washing around? Like nothing actually got damaged other than the little blast that had happened previously? Or
yeah, it didn't seem to have any actual force behind it,
right.
But it was like a radiation kind of aspect to it.
All right. So being one that who uses radiant energy, it probably just feels extra weird and off to me. Kind of like I have a bunch of yang and that's a bunch of yin over there. And while those are complementing energies, normally that's a lot of it. I come running in seeing what appears to be now hurt friends, possibly a little bit more sickly. I look around and go, what did I miss? Did you already take care of her?
He would turn around and say, you missed a hell of a show.
All right, well, I guess moving the master to the safe area might be a good idea. Make sure all the younglings are also safe back there. And I will start heading back because I don't perceive any enemies, I guess, with my perception of, I think, 24. Probably just do a quick look around.
While this happens, Risker would turn around and look at Balasar and Rami, and he would be like, "Are you guys okay? Is everything all right?" Because he didn't see what happened inside the room.
Balasar would kind of look over at Rami and just be like, "The situation is dealt with."
Rami wouldn't say a thing.
Gotcha. He would look at both of you and just nod, and then he would be like, "Should we get out of here?"
I think that is wise.
And then he would go like this, like lead the way.
I return as quickly as I can with the master in hand. I'm not the strongest, so I'm probably looking struggling. Last time I carried him was probably more of adrenaline than strength. So I'm going.
I would probably like look at you and be like, "Here, let me get him," and like prop him back on my shoulders.
You're much better at the heavier loads.
I would be like, "Thanks."
And so where would y'all be heading? Where do y'all think y'all's destination would be?
I believe that we should head towards the hideaway in the back to see if we have any other survivors, or to see if we have any younglings. We have the master under our protection right now, and it's better to have enemies only coming from one direction.
Rami's gonna try to wake him up, or see if I can get him awake.
Give me a medicine check.
Oh God, you would ask me the one thing that I suck at. Okay.
That's the one thing. You have skills.
14.
14. So yeah, so you're kind of able to tell that something similar to like a karate chop to the back of the neck made him pass out, and that it was not a gentle blow, but you know that the elder is extremely strong even in his old age, so it definitely is nothing that would kill him. And I kind of imagine that you start like, you take his head, you crack it one way, you bend his arm backwards a little bit, you crack his neck a different way, and you're doing all these weird like contortion things with his neck and his spine. And after just a couple of seconds of doing that, his eyes start to kind of flutter, and they pop open, and he starts to try and like wrench away, lashing out, not very well, but kind of lashing out at what he would assume is an attacker.
So Risker would, I would imagine I had set him down while he was doing that, and I would just like put my hand like in between like his collarbone, just set him down and be like, "Calm down, master, calm down. It's us."
And he starts to calm down. Oh, what happened? Last thing I remember is Lance was back, and he's looking around, kind of frantically looking around, kind of trying to assess what is going on.
It would seem that some brigands have attacked the temple, and Lance was among them. But we just kind of like look over at Rami again, like, trying to be as sensitive as possible. We saved you.
And silently he's been listening, and he just nods, and more to himself, so that's how they found us. Lance is a traitor. And he stands up and brushes himself off and kind of starts doing like some weird stretching exercises, like twisting his back and moving his shoulder blades. Yeah. He makes a fist, and like every bone in his entire hand just and he goes, "Okay, let's take out the trash." And he basically, I'm picturing like, I don't even know, like some superhero movie where he's leading y'all, and there's two on each side of him walking down. And we're gonna do a little bit of narrative storytelling here, and I'm gonna go from based off of my screen. Mizgar, as y'all are walking towards the front of the temple, towards the main gates, there are two individuals that start rushing at y'all. They've got swords in hand, and they're screaming barbaric yells, but they don't seem too troublesome. They almost look like commoners, villagemen, or village folk, I guess I should say. But they are rushing towards you and your group, swords in hand, ready to kill. This is purely negative, so if you want to take them out, you just explain it to me.
Gotcha. So, we've been through this crazy battle and all this stuff been going on. So, Risgar would turn around and tell everybody, look, I had enough killing for one day, but I'll take care of this, guys. And then he would be like, I hope you guys are not afraid of the dark. And he would, like, blow black smoke at the dart that's in his hand, and he would just throw it in the middle where they're running at, and that's him casting his darkness spell from being a drow. And you see all this smoke just going off, and he would just run in there and start, like, hitting people in the back of the neck and the side of the neck and, like, knocking them out instead of, like, trying to kill them, trying to disarm people. And then he would just, like, slowly start walking out of the smoke.
That's great. At the same time that this is kind of happening, the smoke has just barely started to dissipate, and Isgar comes out. Ruko, you realize that from the right side, I'm assuming this is the side that you're on, that 3 individuals are coming towards you. 2 of them have spears, and one of them just seems to be bare knuckle brawling it. And these 3 individuals are rushing towards you. So Ruko, how would you like to handle these 3?
Upon seeing them, I kind of just look at the group and just go, I guess these ones are mine, and rush forward. The 2 with spears rush forward at first to try to impale me. But as they come towards me, I leap up, grabbing both ends, and do kind of a flip around, bringing them back up and making them overextend, and then pull them back so they land against the ground. And then while pulling up the spears, I use the other end to just start whacking the brawler rapidly finally just like flipping him to make him fall on the ground and smack the other 2 in the head, knocking them out. But just kind of doing it in this weird, flavorful, I basically play drums on them.
Never mess with a drummer. They beat stuff for a living. All right. Rami, as 2 of your comrades have taken out 2 groups of assailants, you realize just at the last moment that one of them, I guess, was pulling some kind of ninja move and has dropped down from above you. And you realize this in time to make any kind of reaction that you would like to deal with this individual as you see fit.
Still thinking about everything that's kind of happened today, and I almost imagine as he was using his quarterstaff to like walk, he simply just brings up his quarterstaff and he essentially becomes a ninja popsicle. How about that? And just brings him down as he screams in pain, and it puts a slight smile on Rami's face to feel some sort of revenge.
All right.
Out of character, I didn't know your name was Ivan. Ivan the Terrible, Ivan the Impaler. No, I'm thinking Dracula. Dracula impaled.
Vlad the Impaler.
Vladimir. Yeah.
Yeah,
Red the
I'm good at
Invader.
remembering things.
There was Ivan the Terrible, but I believe he was Russian.
Yeah, he was Russian Tsar.
He was Russian and he poisoned people.
I don't know if you listen to this. I think it's the second Night at the Museum movie. The actual translation of his name is Ivan the Awesome. So I'm gonna stick with that.
He's Ivan the Great,
It's good.
also Ivan the Terrible.
So those three little encounters kind of all happen at the same time, and before the final person falls, Balasar, you kind of stuck with the master, walking ahead, letting these three fend off any kind of would-be attackers. And you notice that the master, the elder, has stopped. And you stop kind of out of reflex with him, and your eyes follow his, and you see about 50 feet ahead of you a dragonborn, not unlike yourself, standing there, great sword in hand and planted in the ground, facing all of you. He raises his hand up and then just points forward with two fingers. And a group of 5 individuals rush forward. How would you like to deal with them?
The way he's going to do it is he's going to look over at the master and be like, "You rest. I can do this." He starts to sprint like full speed, as almost if you weren't a monk, you wouldn't be able to know how fast he was running. He wouldn't be visible. And he just takes off and takes his glaive off his back. And these 5 guys kind of rushing at him in a line in front of that dragonborn commander. He sticks his glaive in the ground and just jumps over them. And as he's in the air, he takes 5 of these obelisk-shaped darts from his back and just throws them down. Each one with deadly precision finding where the skull meets the shoulder on each of these 5 guys. And he lands behind this dragonborn and just looks and speaks to him. "You have disgraced our people. You have betrayed our people. And I won't stand for it." And at that, he just shoves the glaive right through the dragonborn's chest and lets him fall.
And as he falls, glaive in his chest, you can tell he's having trouble breathing. And he's kind of staring up at the sky. And the rest of the party kind of make their way over to this scene, including the elder, who lifts his foot and puts it down on the dragonborn's throat. And it's like just ever so slightly you can hear what you might assume is bone or maybe even just muscle itself kind of tensing and groaning under the pressure of this older elf's foot. And he's looking down at him, and he just has pure anger on his face. And as the rest of the party congregates and looks down at him, his eyes pass over each of you, but they remain on Hisgar the longest. And he actually raises a clawed finger and hand and points at Hisgar, and just barely audible, he says, "You," as the elder pushes his foot the rest of the way down, completely smushing the dragonborn's throat in. As y'all look around, you can see the remnants of the temple. You can see debris that has fallen, parts that have been completely destroyed, scorch marks, blood splattered. And out of this, you start seeing your fellow comrades emerging from this rubble, emerging from these hidden places, battered, beaten, and bruised, but still alive. But you also know that there are many also dead. You all look at each other and you exchange a silent glance or a silent note. And we do a slight flash forward to that night. There is a bonfire that has been built from the corpses of the intruders as well as your brothers. A bonfire made of flesh. It is burning high into the sky, and all of the remaining monks, all of your remaining comrades, which still seem to number at 200, 300 individuals, are lined up around this bonfire as the elder stands in the center nearest to it. He has this red painted handprint across part of his face, just stamped in place. And it seems like he's giving a speech. And he's, brothers, sisters, they tried to defile this sacred place. They tried to come here and tell us what we do is wrong. That the peace that we give others is abomination. That the divine favor that is granted to us through our deeds is a lie. And he's walking around the fire, talking to everyone. He says, the life that is most precious is those that want it. And you kind of hear this echo as he's saying this of the congregation essentially repeating him. And he does this a couple more times, a couple more phrases with a response coming each time from the crowd, including yourselves. If you will, the camera pans across all of these monks, and you realize that each one of them has this similar handprint on a different spot on their face. And it falls onto the four of you standing together at the head or the innermost row closest to the bonfire. And we realize that each of you also have this mark on your face, this red handprint. And the camera falls specifically on, make sure I'm doing this right, yo. Is officially, or falls on Balasar. And we go into a flashback as Balasar and three other monks are standing over what looks like a dozen, maybe 24 fallen orcs and half-orcs on a field of battle. Jordan's face is covered in blood, but you can still make out a red handprint covering part of it. Then we flash to another flashback, and we see another scene set up, and this time it's Ruko pulling his hand out of a young Yanti man. The camera pulls up to reveal the bodies of two young children, both Yanti, lying dead nearby. With a quick flash, a third scene is revealed. It's of Rami and Lance standing next to a pile of bodies, not unlike what is bonfire, but this stack rises to the hundreds. And they are set in a small village. There's some kind of argument happening, and Lance throws his hands into the air and rushes off. The camera follows Lance as he enters to the woods, and the elder is standing there as if waiting for him. The next thing we see of Lance is running for his life, covered in blood, several wounds. And then he's gone into the night. Lastly, and the last scene that is shown is Rizgar standing there, choking the life out of a small dragonborn child. In the background, you see the father, the dragonborn that Balasar had run through, laying too weak from his wounds, unable to move on the floor, with his only option to watch his only child be murdered. We cut back to the present, seeing the monks cheer and Goru yell into the night. As we pull back, we see that the uniforms that the monks are wearing are slightly different. And they seem to be black with these streaks of red through them. The camera pulls up into the highest tiers of the monastery, to the highest point of this temple, where a flag blows in the breeze. And on this flag is the image of a red scorpion. And that's how we're going to end this.
What a twist.
Tell me about it.
Well done, Mr. Shyamalan.
Hey, it came across that he's like my idol when it comes to twists. So I'm so glad somebody said that.
Here I was about to be like, I leave the temple because I feel ashamed by Rami's words.
Oh my god, that was so good. So I mean, we were the Red Scorpions the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Y'all were the assassins that everybody is so scared of, and essentially these are the people that y'all have wronged in the past, coming back for vengeance.
So that Yanti woman was for me, and I didn't even fight her.
Yeah.
Kind of funny because this whole time I thought my character was like a monk seeking redemption, but it turns out that I was just bloodthirsty.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so
Wow.
good.
Well,
But
I guess I was an orphan to it, so I just was. I was always going to be an assassin.
I just gotta say too, Josh, like the way you role played after Lance died, I felt like you legitimately hated me. That was so good. Like not just my character, but me. I'm like, he really hates me.
Well, he said it.
I know it was. Oh, it was so good.
But I'll let all the guys do an outro. I'll do mine, and we'll go ahead and hop off the air so y'all can get back to doing whatever. So we'll start with Jose. If you want to give me any last thoughts on the game, plug if you have anything to plug, and yeah.
Well, I liked it a lot. It was pretty good, and there was a lot of stuff that I just wasn't expecting. Like, I mean, I knew we were gonna be fighting all kinds of like random people, but the way you did it was really good, especially that ending. Like, I would have never saw that coming. So that was great. I just hope that I did all right.
Yeah, dude, you did great. I think you said that you're new to. Is it RPGs in general, or is it just D&D that you're fairly new to?
I'm pretty much new at tabletop. Like, this will probably be my like 6th or 7th game so far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it without knowing that, I don't think anybody would have been able to tell. To be honest, you did great. Kyle.
I don't have anything to plug. I'm not part of any specific group except for Absolute Tabletop and the One Shot guys. Just being a person that's with them. I had a lot of fun playing this game. Ruko still thinks he's the good guy, even though he's part of the bad guys. He's definitely the good guy. But I had a lot of fun. I've been playing D&D since I was like 12, so that's about 17 years now. So I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a really great story associated to it, and part of me is hoping that it becomes like an actual like thing that happens in the story, and these guys return as the bad guys for someone else's campaign now. Because that'd be great. Just seeing this aloof kind of like, yeah, I just use sun rays and sunshine and also soul-crushing dragon assaults. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with Jose and the rest of you guys. So I definitely, if you guys have another game, invite me if you have a chance. I'll gladly come and play.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see if we can get you in on some other games. Josh.
Man, I had a bad day, so I know I came into this a little wonky, and it took me a little while. But once I found that little niche, I took it and ran with it. It was definitely fun. I am the other half of RPG Enlightenment. I know he had said something a little earlier, but we never really did intros, so whatever. Yeah, no, that was nuts. I kind of sort of hate that I didn't get a chance to do what I wanted to do. But I kind of imagine after those visions in the distant background, you just see an inflated hag just floating in the background.
That's where I was gonna go too.
And for those of you who are watching or playing in this game that don't understand, this was a part of our Friday the 13th thing that we just said would be in all of our games. So go back and watch that, and you'll completely understand what we're talking about at this point.
Alrighty, yeah, no, it's definitely go back and look at the Friday the 13th game that Josh ran. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, again, my name is Jordan. I was playing Balasar. I am 1/4 of the channel Tabletop Dads. I had a blast with this. I've never played a monk before. This was a lot of fun, and the way this was handled, the combat and role playing, it flowed real nice. The story was phenomenal. Yeah, I was disappointed we didn't see Bag Lady. So, but I was waiting for it too. I was hoping the Elder would turn out to be the Bag Lady. You win some, you lose some. But no, I mean this is my second time playing with all of these guys except Kyle, which I enjoyed playing with Kyle as well. So I mean, but this is a great group of guys. So I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed playing with all of y'all. Hopefully I can get some more games in where I get to DM for y'all. I had a very strict I take like 1,000 notes on a game. So I had like I'm one of those DMs. So I had a very strict kind of guideline. Maybe we can get y'all in one that's a little bit more open. But
I am very much the chaos DM, so I just make sure as I go. Sorry, I didn't interrupt you there.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I saw it as an opportunity to drink some water. So kind of like a after the credits kind of thing. Josh, set that scene up for me that you wanted to do, and strictly narrative. Tell me what happens.
Not fully being able to overcome the grief of his brother's death. He had picked up one of his brother's sickles before running to join the rest of the party. And having that flashback just really put him over the edge. You'd see as Rami enters the Elder's quarters that evening by candlelight right before the Elder goes to sleep. Startled, the Elder looks to him and says, "I've been waiting," as Rami slices his throat, the blood splattering against the dojo's canvas walls as the candle burns out.
And so now Rami's the new leader of the Crimson Scorpions. Woo! All right, so thank y'all for watching. Hopefully y'all can come and join us for some of our other games. Like I said before, RPG Enlightenment is now an official company. We've got a couple of different things out, so go check us out on Twitter, Instagram. We got a Facebook page. We'll put all the stuff down in the description for you. But yeah, send us a message if maybe you want to get in on a game. If you're interested in learning how to play tabletop RPGs, let us know. That's the original reason we started RPG Enlightenment, was to get people involved in gaming, and not only just gaming, but different types of games. We'll find one for you that you like, and we'll either me or Josh, somebody will run it for you. Thank you again for stopping by. This is the Temple of Rama, and we'll see you later.